Have you ever felt like there's some kind of secret committee meeting happening inside your own head? You know, the one whose only job is to make sure your best laid plans go completely off the rails? Well, today we're diving deep into that very idea, but we're going to frame it as a Gothic parable, a story about the ghosts we carry and maybe even create inside our own minds. So, let's pull back the curtain on this spectral assembly.
This just nails a universal human truth, doesn't it? That internal friction, that little gap between what we want to happen and what actually happens, that's the very fabric of our shared experience. We all know that feeling, that simmering frustration when things just don't work, where our grandest intentions crash headfirst into the smallest, most infuriating failures.
And here it is. This is the key. This feeling isn't some new, modern annoyance. Oh no, it's ancient. We're literally haunted by verbs, and the source of this haunting has a name, a very old verb, gramion, to vex, to anger. This one word is the key that unlocks this entire spectral committee in our minds.
So let's set the stage for Act 1. Now, this isn't your typical haunting with rattling chains and some dusty old manor. No, this one takes place entirely inside the hollowed-out skull of the mind. This is where it all starts to take shape. The Gremian Council. It takes that vague, abstract spirit of no, that internal wall you hit, that voice of opposition, and it gives it bone and breath. Suddenly, it's not just a feeling anymore. It becomes this tangible thing, a visceral, soot-stained white that's always there to trip you up in the dark. Okay, on to Act 2. It's time to meet the first member of this council, the one who provides the raw, unthinking fuel for all our frustration, the id. Wow, what a description. This isn't some complex, calculating villain. The id is the ancient Grom. It's pure, primal hostility. Just picture it, this beast-like anger pacing back and forth in the basement of your mind, smelling of old iron and damp earth. So, the id is basically the council's engine. Its one and only job is to churn out raw hostility, to stir the blood until it just boils over into pure rage. It doesn't need a reason, it's just got this endless hunger to vex the spirit. And it's a relic. It actually resents our modern world, mourning the good old days when its fire led to actual blood feuds, not just getting mad over a blot of ink on a page.
But see, raw anger is just noise if it doesn't have a target. So in Act 3, let's meet the second member of the council, the one who gives all that anger its cruel, calculating purpose, the superego.
And the contrast here is just stark. I mean, if the id is this wild beast raging in the cellar, the superego is the cold, impartial judge up in the high court, draped in these stiff, formal robes. This isn't about heat. It's all about the chilling weight of negation. And the superego's tactic? It's devastatingly effective. It takes our own ideals, our own sense of pride, and it weaponizes them right back at us. It holds up this perfect mirror of what should be just to point out every single flaw, turning a tiny slip-up into this eternal state of guilt. It's the one that builds the psychological cage.
So we've got the fire, and we've got the cage. But how does this internal war actually show up in our daily lives? Well, let's move to Act 4 and meet the final and maybe the craftiest member of them all, the ego, the mind's weary steward.
You gotta feel for the ego a little bit. It has the hardest job of all. It's basically the public relations manager for our internal chaos. It has to take this raging beast and this cold, judgmental judge and somehow make it all look like a normal, functioning person is running the show. And here's its masterstroke. The ego performs this brilliant act of misdirection. It takes that profound internal war that's raging inside and translates it into something small, something external, something that seems totally insignificant. A broken pen, a software bug, an engine that just won't turn over. Sound familiar? The ego makes us blame these little petty gremlins for our crumbling composure. It's like a linguistic phantom, giving us this plausible excuse, this mask to hide the real conflict that's boiling just underneath the surface. All right, now let's see how this unholy trinity actually works together. In Act 5, we're going to connect all the pieces and watch the self-sustaining cycle of exquisite agony they create. So at the heart of everything is this fundamental opposition. You have the id's raw, fiery impulse to just shatter everything, and it's met by the superego's cold, relentless judgment that's trying to create despair. It's the absolute perfect internal storm. You can boil it all down to this simple but kind of terrifying formula. The id provides the fire, the superego provides the cage, and the ego provides the mask. And this creates a loop that's almost impossible to escape. First, that ancient hostility settles in your chest like a piece of cold lead.
Then you try to fight it. You try to reason your way out of it, but every single effort just tightens the knot of your own anger. Your spear becomes the very vessel for the storm you were trying to escape in the first place.
Which brings us to our final, chilling act. We've met the council members, we've seen how they operate. Now, in Act 6, we're going to unmask the true master of this haunted house.
It's the ultimate question, isn't it? With all these powerful forces running around, the beast, the judge, the steward, who is actually in charge here?
And here's the profound, maybe unsettling answer. The council isn't some invading army. It's not an external demon that's possessed you. It's a mirror. These voices, this entire spectral assembly, they're just a reflection of our own internal discord.
And this is the final twist to the knife. The council is completely, utterly powerless without our participation. The fire that the id uses, the laws that the superego enforces, it's all fueled by our own pride. We provide the very nectar for our own execution.
And so the story doesn't really end with the ghost being vanquished. The council is never truly gone. It just recedes, huddled in a corner of the mind, waiting for the next misplaced key, the next software bug, the next little surge of pride to come along so it can reclaim its throne. Waiting for us to look in the mirror one more time.